I was born with club feet. I was abandoned in a San Francisco hospital. I got put into foster care. I started Lifeboat Coffee with the express purpose of giving money directly back. And so I was 45 years old by the time I said, I'm going to do this myself, come hell or high water. 80% of business in my industry fail. You feel like you're quitting. I believe that's when you're on the verge of success.
Do you ever wonder how successful entrepreneurs built their businesses from scratch? Are you unsure if starting a business is for you? Well, tune in as we discuss how successful entrepreneurs transformed their ideas into reality. Welcome back to From Zero to Revenue with your host, Chris Yap.
Welcome to our podcast show, From Zero to Revenue. This is the show that features the journeys of successful entrepreneurs and to kill the myth that you have to come from a rich family or you need to have all the money in the world. You know, this is a show that's going to show you that if you have an idea, you have the will to serve, and that you believe that success follows significance. This is the show for you.
Amen.
I am your host, Chris Yap. Man, I'm so pumped to have our guest here today, my good friend, a respected veteran, one of the few professional coffee roasters I know. Please welcome the owner of Lifeboat Coffee, the skipper, John Lillis.
Chris, what a great pleasure to be here today. Thank you so much.
Man, I'm just super pumped to have you here. You know, I told Nat you're going to be here.
I was surprised he's not in the audience today.
Oh, well, he's going to be watching this, you know.
Yeah, I'm sure he will,
and Nat was my guest, I think a month or so ago. But, man, I love that guy.
No, there's nothing not to like about the guy. I mean, he's just, from A to Z, one of my closest confidants. He's a great guy.
No, absolutely. So, John, tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, and what Lifeboat Coffee is about.
All right, so it all starts in 1967. And the story really gets a punchline from this backstory because, so my biological mother was 16 years old. She was raped in Marin County, California. And in March of 1967, then governor of California, Ronald Reagan, legalized therapeutic abortion. It's important to note that, okay? Because our company is passionately pro-life. But this is why. I mean, it's very personal to me, and it all started then. So she did not obviously have an abortion, but I was abandoned in a San Francisco hospital for several months. I was born with club feet, and I had health problems, and it was just whatever, right? And then I got put into foster care with a family that would eventually adopt me. And after about a year and a half, I was adopted. I didn't know I was adopted till the fourth grade, but I wasn't 48 years old until I found out this backstory I'm telling you now. And that my birth name and my name given at birth and that I had all through foster care was Bruce Nixon. So you probably remember, and Nat remembers, Bruce Nixon Life Charities. But that's the backdrop. And then, of course, all my life, I'm born and raised Catholic and participating in the church life and very much pro-life activities. And it happened that I was doing radio in Sioux City, Iowa. I was invited to a women's crisis pregnancy center in 2012. And they were adjacent to Planned Parenthood, where this Planned Parenthood conducted about 25 abortions every Tuesday.
Yeah.
And so progressing through the story, they couldn't really be self-supportive. They wanted to find a way to do it. They were nestled between two colleges. I did a live radio program from their space to encourage people to pray for the moms and the doctors of conversion, et cetera. And they were nestled between two colleges. I said, why don't you let me build you a coffee shop? And you have all these volunteers who can bake goodies and we'll make coffee and blah, blah, blah. So I got that all done. And I'm like, we should call it Lifeboat Coffee because we're trying to save people.
Yeah.
And they were like, yay. And then someone on their board of directors died and the political winds shifted. So in 2013, I said to my wife, why don't we just do it ourselves? I mean, I've been doing media for 20 plus years.
Yeah.
this idea is valid, right? So you were talking about business with a purpose. I started Lifeboat Coffee, the LLC, the company in 2013, got the ball rolling, and with the express purpose of giving money directly back to help women, unborn children, the elderly, disabled veterans, whatever charity that affirmed life I could provide. So to date, we've done hundreds of thousands of dollars in hundreds of different organizations, but most notably, my Bruce Nixon Life Charities that made money from the coffee gave to Nat's team with Congressman Trent Franks, who eventually got laws changed and pushed up the ladder to overturn Roe v. Wade. So it was a very salient moment in my mind's eye to say, okay, this is a business with purpose. Now, of course, we've always been a family business. We have some employees, but just one of the challenges was, of course, convincing everybody that you're going to make money, right?
Yeah.
And so that's the backdrop. So I know you have follow-up questions, but that's how we started, why we started, and I'm very pleased and thankful that we're still in business today.
Man, that's a lot to unpack, and a lot of those I didn't know about you.
All right.
And I really appreciate you sharing that. I love the vulnerability. I love the story on why you set this up in the first place. It answered a lot of my questions in here, but it's just amazing how your personal experience growing up, finding out that you were adopted, but I had no idea.
Right.
I did not know that. I know that the purpose of the organization is solid on helping. You've got very strong advocacy
Right.
with pro-life. I think you give 6%.
Cash. Right from the top, though. It's
Yeah,
important to
from
know
revenue, exactly,
Right.
not from profit.
That's right.
That's
6%
pretty
of
amazing.
the purchase. So if somebody were to buy $100 worth of coffee for their group, they'd get the full 6% back.
Right. So John, tell me a little bit about the childhood, right? So you grew up Catholic, you found out you were adopted. You said
Yeah.
4th grade.
Yeah.
How was that process? Like, was that a deliberate, like, you found out about it because your parents
Yeah,
told
they just-
you, or
yeah,
you
they-
found
they-
out?
No, they
Okay.
decided to tell me.
Okay.
So I'm born and raised in the city of San Francisco, right?
Okay,
A
yeah.
very major popular city, right?
Yeah.
A city I still love dearly to visit. And it was a turbulent time because it was once run by old Italians and Irish and old immigrants that ran the city. You know, it was a city of industry. Coffee was born. I have cousins on my father's side. The McCarthy brothers had the very finest coffee, tea, and spice shop on Market Street in San Francisco at the turn of the century. It ended about 1913. And so on my dad's side, we're 5th generation San Francisco. So very rooted in that. But a big coffee industry there, Hills Brothers Coffee, Folgers Coffee, Domino's Sugar, C&H Sugar, everything related to coffee is still there. The coffee companies have since moved roasting elsewhere, but the backdrop was industry, the Navy, very old school, traditional city. Very small city compared to some place you might be more familiar with, like Los Angeles or even Manila. These enormous cityscapes, right?
Right.
San Francisco is only 7 miles wide and 7 miles long. It's a tip of a peninsula. So I, as a young person, through even my first year of college, you could go anywhere on a streetcar or a bus. But the dynamic shifted. And why this is important is because control was taken away from the traditional family in favor of the
Commercial.
well, that and a radical version of homosexuality that kind of perverted the sense of family and tradition of the city.
Sure.
And of course, I love everybody. I'm not casting aspersions. I'm just saying that's the political shift. And it was difficult to grapple with growing up because, you'd see naked men walking down the street. Like, what is that compared to, where mom and dad would have their kids walking down the street? Now it's replaced with this radical version of that. So that's the backdrop. My dad was a machinist for Trans World Airlines for 40 years, every day at the airport. Very, a traditional father, worked very hard. My mom was part-time on the Respect Life Commission for the Archdiocese of San Francisco. So, I mean, it's part of my fabric
Right.
to participate in these things. But the impact was understanding that, I've been in small town America. I lived in Omaha too, and other tiny places that not everybody gets this exposure. They don't understand the fullness of the human experience. And it gave me the framework, because I could have come out of the gate with Lifeboat Coffee being, I'm Catholic, and if you're not, you suck. Or I'm pro-life, and if you're not pro-life, you suck. Instead, I just say, look, we uphold the dignity of human life. We love everybody. We're going to make the best coffee we can figure out how to make.
Right.
But we're not anti-anybody. And I think that was a lesson I learned by growing up in San Francisco. Right? You have to be, in the truest sense of the word, tolerant, right?
Yeah, no, 100%, especially talking about San Francisco,
Yeah.
especially now, although you don't live there, but you said you still visited. But obviously the childhood, finding out your history, and then growing up in that environment where hard work is really valued, community service is valued,
Right.
faith is
Right.
valued. I would imagine, well, you said it's really built into your fabric.
Right.
And I just love the fact how you were able to incorporate that into serving people through coffee, put it that way. Because your background, you went, college-wise,
Yep.
you did broadcasting, you worked for companies like Fox for a long time.
That's right, yeah.
But you still decided to pursue a life of service through coffee. Remind us again why coffee. I know you said that you started this.
It was an accident, really.
Okay,
Because,
yeah.
because of the thing that I built in Sioux City.
Right,
But then it dawned on me, I don't need to do it for somebody else. I can do it for myself. Right?
100%.
And when I had that epiphany, I said, okay, to your point, being in the media, I had drive time afternoon shows. I had morning shows. I've done the production. I've done the engineering.
Yeah.
I wrote television, whatever. But that's just me kind of serving the almighty dollar and serving some other master. Right?
Sure, right.
It was never me and any kind of passion that I had. I mean, I had a passion for sharing the faith or sharing my talents with people. That's not what I'm saying. But it was never me taking a risk, right? Because other people are willing to pay for talent, right? So it was always me holding my hand out to somebody else. And so I was 45 years old by the time I said, I'm going to do this myself, come hell or high water, because it's good in and of itself. And guess what? I'm going to put myself to the test. If I talk this big game, what do I bring to the table? And that's why I finally made the decision, because, the adoption part, to speak to that for just a moment, it was always my late parents, George and Rita. I never really considered them not my parents, even though I knew I was adopted. But unlike a lot of other people, I never spent any amount of time even thinking about my biological mother, other than later, obviously thanking her for not having an abortion, right? And she was 16, so I'm assuming she could still be alive. She'd be 74 this year. So I don't know. But that didn't have as big of an impact as just growing up with a father who I learned all of my technical skills from, my wisdom, and the things that he embodied, So that was the deep impact there. But ultimately, it was me making the decision that I have to take the risk. I have to put myself out there. And that's, I think, as a business venturer yourself, that's the hardest thing to do, right? Because it's you.
Yep.
And if you fail, you've got the egg in your face.
You're the ultimate escalation point.
Right. Right. But I mean, there's no arbiter.
Yes.
There's nobody else that you can't, you as the owner of this company and me I can't throw anybody under the bus.
Yep.
When somebody in my organization makes a mistake, I made the mistake. I'm quick to point out to all customers, it was my responsibility. I let you down. I don't throw employees under the bus. But just the startup part is like, well, are we going to do it? Are we not going to do it?
Yeah.
The most dangerous part of any company adventure is startup.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the fatality rate is so high. It's through the roof.
80% in my industry. 80%.
80%.
Yeah.
That's insane. When you were a child, did you ever think that you're going to be a business owner? You're
No.
going to be an entrepreneur?
No. Never crossed my mind.
Okay.
But I always had an entrepreneurial spirit
Okay.
that I'll tell you a funny story about, because my dad worked for the airline. So he would oftentimes get surplus items from the airline, like boxes and boxes of pencils, like they changed the color of the pencil, but it was branded with TWA or something. So he would bring them home thinking I would just use them for school supplies. But I started in like fourth grade taking boxes of pencils to school and selling them for $0.25 each, right? Or mugs or whatever it was, calendars.
Yeah.
I was very quick to spin it and turn a profit on it, right? And I did some radio commercials when I was just like a 12-year-old kid for fun on local radio stations. You know, they just needed talent. So I kind of married those two things together. But obviously, I did lots of little things growing up that were foreshadowing what ultimately happened, right? Because,
right.
But it was never omnipresent in my mind at all.
Sure. So it goes to show that, entrepreneurship, like you started at 45. I started GabTech, man, I was 41.
Yeah, so you understand, yeah.
So it's somewhere there. So this is not entrepreneurship or starting a business. It's not something that, you have to start at the early time. In fact, there's an advantage to it. Like in your case, you were able to marry different disciplines, virtues, and skill set into what you have today.
And wisdom and courage. Don't forget that. I mean, it takes a
course,
lot of courage. And I'll tell you why
100%.
that's true. So I married 7 children, right? I
Yes.
haven't said that yet. But, the demands of fatherhood and husbandry, the wife is constantly pressuring the husband to make sure he has a good job to provide for the family, which is good, right? I mean, that's part of what wives do best is encourage their husbands, right? So in that sense, I never really had the courage to just tell her, I'm going to break out on my own,
Yeah.
right? Because I always had to work,
Yep,
right? That's
yep.
just something I grew up with.
7 kids.
Yeah. And so by the time I was 45, my youngest was only 3.
Wow.
So we had our last child when we were almost 42. So it was really like, she was like, I think you're crazy. And I said, yeah, I am crazy. But I could do, aside from just starting up coffee, I could do other asides, which I did, right? Because, you can't go from, there was no outside investment. You know what I mean? Like it was what we had, how we get it started. But, for the first 5 years, I did little building projects on the side, whatever it took to make money.
Sure.
Right? Until 10 years ago when we built the cafe here in Phoenix. And then it was all in. It was like forever. Like this is it, right?
Yeah. No, 100%. And so I think I know the answer to this, but I'm going to have to ask you anyway. Have you ever been broke?
I'm probably broke right now. Well, I think it brings up that's the question behind the question. I think that any entrepreneur who's in it will probably already know, but somebody thinking about it, and if we're inspiring people, don't be afraid to be broke.
Yes, 100%. That's why I ask it.
The key to business is not how much money you have saved in the bank. Rather, it's cash flow.
100%.
Right. So, I mean, it took me a while to learn that, right? Because, you spend a bunch of money, you go, oh, shit, what happened to the money? And then I realized, you need to balance your operating debt with cash flow. And I think that's one of the biggest secrets that needs to be out of the bag for everybody is you will carry operational debt, but you have to learn how to make that work in your advantage cash flow wise. And if you can't cash flow, then get out of business.
No, 100%. That's why I have a saying, cash is king, credit is queen.
That's right. and it's amazing to see, like we are 13, almost 14 years into this project. I probably have 20,000 in operational debt that we service, but I've been involved in projects where that number is much higher.
Yes.
For other little companies that I was a part of, like that number might be $250,000
Right.
or higher.
100%.
Right? As long as you're cash flowing. So, yeah, I mean, I still have kids and grandkids, so I'm definitely broke.
Well, the thing about being broke is it allows you to innovate,
Right.
right? It allows you to innovate, come up with solutions. And like you said, as long as you're cash flowing, positive cash flowing, debts are being serviced, customers happy, people happy, you have a business.
That point needs to be exaggerated too, because you have to have the courage to do what we do.
Yeah.
But you also have to be a man of character or a woman of character. Pay your bills.
100%.
Don't leave your creditors behind, because your reputation in business will be destroyed forever.
100%.
Not only with banks, not only with creditors, but with your peers. No one likes a deadbeat. You know, we talk about deadbeat dads all the time. Well, don't be a deadbeat business owner, right?
100%.
Now, there are protections in place that are legal if you get over your head and things happen. Like back in 2010, we were not in business, but when markets collapse, you might need protection from Chapter 11 or Chapter 13. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about just being a deadbeat. Don't do it.
No, 100%. And I'm glad that you said that. And unfortunately, I mean, I still have some clients that owed me, but it is what it is. I'm not going to say their name.
You need a little stronger beef in your accounts receivable department.
Yeah, well,
Tony with a stick.
that doesn't.
I'm kidding, yeah.
That hasn't happened in like 3 years now.
Oh, good, yeah.
So I have an amazing team, like collections. In fact, my operations team help with the collections too. That's why, we have a pretty good collections turnaround.
And that's good, because debt gets old quick for everybody, right? I mean,
and it gets very expensive.
if you got to write down debt on your taxes, I mean, it's really difficult because accountants hate you, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to write down debt, but if you have to write down debt, the accountant's looking at you and the tax guy's looking at you like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's a nuance we don't need to get into, but you understand what I'm saying.
I know exactly what you're saying. Now, one of the founding principles of your business, I love this when I was reading this, was really your high regard for our Constitution.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up.
Tell us about that, man, because I was reading it the other day and I read it again last night. It's like, God damn it. This is the first time I've seen anything like that. So please tell us about that.
I wanted to be so unique in my approach that I wanted anybody who wanted to draw near my company, whether it be a customer, maybe a partner like you guys, who are my partner in private labeling. I wanted to be perfectly clear about what makes the United States unique and special. And as Ronald Reagan said, the last great hope on earth. We talk about lots of different things in the modern era about, undocumented visitors. You want to go down the line, people from your country, from all over the world come here to work, right?
Yep.
Well, because there's that shred of liberty. But what made us amazing was the framework of the Constitution that set us up as a constitutional republic, that we have fundamentally the right to free speech. And in that, you can nuance privacy, your right to act, your right to go to church, things that are God-given rights that our government protects on our behalf. And we back that up with the Second Amendment, right, against a government that would take them away or people that want to take it away from us personally. And why that's important is America was founded on the principle of self-reliance.
100%.
Right? And I'm not saying that people didn't cooperate, because they certainly did. But if you look to every major town and soon-to-be city in the United States, there was a livery stable where the blacksmith made horseshoes. There was someone who grew vegetables and wheat, someone who raised the cattle and the sheep, someone who raised and groomed the horses, someone who had a hotel, right? They all cooperated in this commerce, but they did it as individuals. And I didn't say this on my website, but I'll go further. I think the Industrial Revolution of the 1820s through 1850s was part of the downfall of the experiment of the United States, insofar as when you put all these people in a beehive, they had to work for other people, right? And you talk about, we had legalized immigration for jobs until 1914 in the United States. So when we reformed immigration, they did that to fill jobs in these big cities, right? And I don't know if you've ever thought about it, but think about Manila or Los Angeles or New York, right?
Yeah.
20 million people in some of these places at one time. What are they doing? Right? And they all have to work for somebody else, and they think that's part of their self-worth is working for somebody else. Like, I'm not saying people that have a great job that work for somebody don't have self-worth. I'm saying they have to, right? Because there currently aren't enough entrepreneurs out there to employ them all, right? But further to my point is cities became these beehives, which became this co-op of ideas where the industrialists made all the money, right?
Yep.
And that turned into a nightmare for Americans, right? We have the numbers are frightening. 47 million Americans are on food stamps, right? And that's a byproduct of living in cities that are unsustainable. So of my 7 children, 5 are adults, 6 technically are adults. I've told them all to learn how to grow vegetable gardens, learn how to be as self-sufficient as possible. Yes, have a job, but don't rely. The government, I guess the point I'm trying to make is the federal government of the United States has no money and they have no business being the support business, right? They have no business handing out welfare. They have no business robbing from Peter to give to Paul, taking your hard-earned money and my hard-earned money and give it to people who won't work.
Right, 100%.
Right. And so that's the framework I'm trying to say. Now, are there people that need assistance? Yeah, I'll go on the record and say, yes, safety nets for the states to create a safety net for their people, 100%. I don't care. I mean, I applaud that, right? So if somebody gets in trouble, here's 6 weeks unemployment. You get in trouble, here's some assistance buying milk and cheese and bread for your baby. I don't have any problem with that. But that's not what we have. Okay.
Yeah.
And so our republic has been robbed by these people on both sides of the aisle that have robbed us, right? And how does it speak to business? Well, look at if you're in any business of any size, like how many employees you guys have over there? Lots, right? So you're a medium-sized business, right?
Yep.
By the books. I'm a micro business. I have 5 employees, right? I don't even count for anything. But you count as a medium-sized business according to the federal government. But imagine all the things that the government says they'll do for all these people when they have no money but the money that is collected in taxes. And we haven't used a single tax dollar in real time in over 60 years. It's $36 trillion in funny money, right? And that's fabulously frightening, right?
100%.
So, but you have
We're just
three.
printing it. Yep.
You have 3. Now, I'm talking about you young entrepreneurs who are hungry. Start a company, create some jobs. You know, I was the other side of the coin is I was very pleased to be able to create some jobs, even though I'm a micro business, you know. But imagine starting a company where you can get to the 150 employee threshold or something. It's important for people to be part of something that is genuinely American spirited, if I can say it that way, right? That is not overseas manufacturing.
Yep.
You have a unique situation because you're from that country and you can use them for all the greater purposes. That we don't have that here.
Yeah.
There's no pool like that here.
No, 100%.
Right. You know what I'm getting at? So, but importantly, don't be a corporatist, don't be a capitalist, and don't be a communist. I say that to everybody I meet, right? Because the corporatist, the capitalist, and the communist all are exactly the same. And people are like, oh, John, how can you say that? And here's why, Chris. All 3 of those types of people want to be the 1/10 of 1% that control your life. All 3 of them.
Yes.
The corporatist, the capitalist, and the communist. Now, and it's sad to say that, but that's what's happened to America.
It's happening.
Right? And
it's progressed.
if you're asking me if I'm a capitalist, obviously I believe in a free market. But don't lie to yourself. We don't live in a free market. We're in an overregulated federal marketplace. And if you open the London School of Economics playbook about what economy we actually have, it's a fascist economy. An oversized, over-bloated, overspending federal government that's bureaucracy is unbelievable. I mean, look at it. That has a very limited free market. That's fascism. And we live in a fascist economy. And that's just facts. You can look it up for yourself. It sounds crazy when I say it because people go, well, we're all capitalists, right? We want to make money. Yeah. You know, you go by principles, right? You can charge what the market will bear. How about we charge what is just? How about that principle? Charge what's just, right? How about that? Or supply and demand, you know, by their own thing. You've heard, obviously, supply and demand, right? If supply is up with demand, prices plummet. Look at gasoline. We're getting robbed every day by the gas barons, right?
Yes.
Americans consume 49 million barrels of gasoline a day. We should be paying 99 cents a gallon. But instead, it's $3, $4, $6 when I go home.
Right.
Come on. That's what I mean. If you're going to do something, do it in the framework of justice.
Yeah. So it's very, I'm glad that you pointed out, and I've never had anyone say that in the show. So I have this mantra with my business where I say success follows significance, right?
Yes.
And really what I mean by that, don't chase money. Money will chase you if you're doing something significant for people. And I just said that in the context of what you're saying because I'm an immigrant.
Yeah.
Setting up a company here is so easy.
Easy.
Like, if you come here, and this is, I think, the perfect timing that we talk about this, right? I came here with like $500 in our pocket. Just me, my wife, and I had a 2-year-old,
Nice.
right?
Yeah.
All we had was a big dream. And the plan before we even left Manila was, so my wife's a pharmacist. Well, she's a doctor in the Philippines too, but I told her, since we are coming to the U.S. through my employer, so let me serve my employer and make sure they grow, they get set up. When I think we're ready, I'm going to leave and I'm going to set up something because it's America.
Right.
It's the freaking land of opportunity. It's like if we don't grab that, we are doing America disservice.
Right.
Like, and fast forward to today, yeah, we have people in the Philippines, but if you look at the companies we serve, we allow them to grow faster.
Absolutely.
Because it's not like we're replacing people here. It's not like we're stealing people here, people's jobs here. We are supplementing it. Like what we do for healthcare right now, I know you're big on senior. We support the senior caregiving community.
Nice.
So because they need to make money and they need to hire more people, I have recruiters recruiting caregivers for them from the Philippines.
Yeah, no. It's a perfect augmentation.
It's an amazing
and there's no labor
augmentation.
pool like that available.
And
there.
there's no labor pool like that available. And really, and really, the essence of me saying this is there's no other country in the world who will allow you to chase that entrepreneurial journey or hunger that you have the way America is set up.
It's
like
important, very important you say that.
Yeah, just setting up the company. You can have a company set up in a day. You go to the Philippines, takes you 3 months.
And how many people you got to bribe?
How many people you have to bribe? Here, you can do it online. It's so straightforward.
I mean, there are regulations, but considering the framework of what you're talking about, yeah, I mean, you go to see our friend Nat or go to Rocket Lawyer, you have a company in an hour.
100%.
You know what I mean? So that's great. And I love what you guys do. In fact, I wish I had thought of it before you did. No, but there's coffee in the Philippines, by the way.
Yes.
Now I'm going on the record. You need to find me those Filipino farmers that grow coffee because I understand from that it's wonderful coffee.
I got you. Okay. So we can discuss that offline and I can definitely point you towards the right direction.
Nice.
In fact, where my management team's at, it's in a place called Baguio. It's in the mountains, Cordillera Mountains.
Okay.
The best coffee in the Philippines grow there. I mean, others would
That's
contest
okay.
this, right?
Mountain-grown coffee is better. But see, we're being entrepreneurs right now. We're going to make some money doing Filipino coffee.
We're going to get it done. Well, here's the thing. So you're committing 6% of top line to advocacies that you support, right?
That's right.
We support entrepreneurship and education. We have few scholars in the Philippines that we pay for college, tuition, miscellaneous books,
awesome.
Transportation, health, uniform, whatnot, college.
Yeah.
But they have to maintain a certain grades. But here's the thing, John, and I'm talking about this is what this country has done for me and for us.
Yeah.
And the ripple effect is freaking worldwide. Because entrepreneurship allowed us to make money, take care of my family, it enabled us to give more. What I mean by that was, late last year, we developed a training program, an online course for women, specifically for single moms.
Okay.
Because in the Philippines, if you're a single mom and you want to get a job, you won't be able to afford caregiving, childcare. No way. When we saw that and we saw how in Manila traffic's so horrendous, travel like 5 miles, it's going to take you like an hour to 2 hours.
I walk.
Unbelievable. Yeah, I'd rather walk. So we created an online program to train moms, stay-at-home moms, to become virtual assistants.
Wow.
You know how many scholars we have on that, John?
100?
We have 800 scholars on that.
800.
800.
That's awesome.
And then we train them to do bookkeeping.
Yeah.
So talk about empowerment and talk about helping people fish versus giving them fish.
Absolutely. I love it to death. That's awesome.
That's what America did for us.
And that's what you'll get if you're hungry like a wolf and you work hard in the right context of what you want to do, because we're trying to inspire young people here.
Right.
So whatever it might be, look what you can get. I mean, this is living proof, right?
Yeah.
I'm like this. Okay, I got you. I'm not worthy. That was very good. I like that a lot.
No, and again, we're talking about entrepreneurship
Yeah.
and just
But these are the fruits.
Well, what I was gonna say was, if you're an immigrant, you're here, and you're freaking complaining about this country, you shouldn't be here.
Right.
Get the
if
hell
you're
out.
flying your flag and burning my flag, then you might want to go home. Yeah.
Exactly. No, 100%. So, as you know, my son's in the U.S. Marine.
Yeah, Semper Fi.
So,
Oh, the 250th birthday coming up November 10th.
100%.
Are you
There's
going
going
to
to
go
be,
be with him?
oh yeah, 100%.
Awesome, yeah.
So, when he joined, we were scared. I mean,
Of course.
Hazel was crying almost every day. And so, because the way he did it too was like, it wasn't ideal. He just said, Daddy, you have to come with me to the office.
Recruiter,
I said, why? Oh, you need to sign documents. I said, what? But anyway, so he's been planning all along that he wants to serve. So when I asked him, why do you really want to join? Because you don't need to for financial
Right.
or whatever. Like, we did all the hard work to come to this country. And he said, that's exactly it. You did all the hard work. And he said, the only way where I would feel like I deserve to live in this great country is if I serve the country now.
Wow, that's
Dude,
powerful. I love that.
When he said that, man,
You had big dad tears coming out. Yeah.
oh, 100%.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, I was just going to say that I love this country.
Yeah.
This country's done so much for us. And so what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to give back in both countries, trying to create jobs over there while helping my fellow entrepreneurs here grow.
And you couldn't
Thrive.
You couldn't do this to help them at home anywhere else in the world.
No, if I was sent to the UK,
Yeah, never.
no way.
You'd be taxed to death.
In
80 cents on the dollar. If you
that
go to
or
the-
Canada, it's
Yeah, same
exactly
thing.
the same.
Yeah.
We should be talking over that, like maybe over not a glass, but over a bottle of whiskey or
Yeah,
bourbon.
That's true. But I'll tell you a funny anecdote, though. I have customers that live near the Canadian border that love my coffee, right? And I have to send it to the U.S. Post Office, and they have to drive across the border to get it because Canada taxes tariffs my coffee, and it's been this way for a long time. $34 per pound tariff to send my coffee into Canada.
That is insane.
Yeah, and that's why I'm saying the government of Canada is, I don't know what to say. We'll leave it for another conversation. But it does go back to, are you selling, are you working domestically, internationally? I'm doing it mostly domestically. I do have customers in Hong Kong, Australia, had a couple in Mexico, but your GapTech is global.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, so I mean, that's awesome. And that's something that should be very encouraging to everybody.
Yes.
You know, I'm your guest, but heck, I mean, you really are the baseline inspiration for anybody listening, because if they want something, like I said before, you have a medium-sized, growing larger. I'm probably always going to be micro unless something changes that I don't have full control over. I'm not saying I wouldn't want to go more mainstream and larger, but it's very difficult. You know, as the skipper of Lifeboat Coffee, there's only so many hats I can wear in a single day.
100%.
Right, and that's part of the problem. And I understand bringing on teammates, you know, but as you probably learned in business, I certainly learned you can't trust even the people closest to you.
No.
And that's unfortunate.
Unfortunate.
Yeah.
It's just the reality. I mean, I have a few stories to share there, but that's for another conversation.
Right.
But I've got like there's just like some key items that I want to ask you, right?
Sure.
For our listeners here, you mentioned earlier, this is not easy. That's why there's only 2% of the world or 2.5% of the world who are entrepreneurs. So what were like some of the biggest challenges you've had as an entrepreneur when you were, whether setting up, growing up trying to grow Lifeboat, what were some key challenges you had, and
Yeah.
how did you overcome them?
All right. Well, that's a great framework question. I'll answer in 3 parts: money, marketing, and time management. Okay, those are always still my biggest challenges. But those are the 3 in my mind that you have to overcome, because if you're an entrepreneur, which if you're listening, you probably either will be or you already are, you already have a vision of what you want to do, right? So I'd say you probably read books and heard lots of lectures about this. Time management is
Yeah.
enormous. I've wasted enough time to have started this company 3 times, because I had to learn to build habits, find out what time of day are you best in operational mode. For me, I rise at 0300 every morning, and I'm operationally tactical between 3:30 in the morning and around 9 a.m. That's where I get everything financial, every decision, every email, every marketing decision is made for me at that time. From that 9 o'clock forward through the day, I'm bombarded with phone calls and texts and emails and demands of the environment where I am, to a point where I didn't learn that balance before. So it's still a huge challenge. But at first, for the several years, I was like, I'm going to have to, stop, because I don't even understand what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Everybody talks about the challenge of money, but don't be afraid of money. We talked about that loosely before. Cash flow is king.
Yep.
Don't be afraid to borrow money.
Yep.
Spend other people's money.
Yep.
Make sure you're buying money and not your idea. And let me emphasize this. The cost of money is the only thing you really have to concern yourself with. Right now, the best money out there is, we're talking about entrepreneur money, is getting to between 7 and 10%.
That is true.
Which is horrible.
Yep.
I was able to start at like 2%, but I still
Wow.
work operationally. Yeah, I'm about 3.9. But you got, I mean, once you get some street cred, they look at your Dun and Bradstreet,
Yep.
that is kept behind the scenes. They look at
They
how often
start
have
pouring
you
on you and start
Yeah.
lending you money.
right. But you don't want to buy money. You don't. What I'm trying to say to the listener is, don't buy your dream. Concentrate on the purchase of the money. I tell this to my kids and my friends. You're not buying a house. You're buying the money, and they're going to give you a house. You're not buying a car. You're buying their money, and you're going to get a car. It's a key difference, right? Because every young person goes, when they have money to buy their first car, and the car dealer say to them, well, how much money can you afford every month? And they got you, right? Because now you're not worried about the price of the money. You're worried about how much money you're going to spend every month.
Every month.
Right? And they've got you, right? So what I'm going to encourage you to do is study money. And it's really simple. Buy low, don't spend high.
Yeah.
Right? If you buy money, your dream will come true in the sense that you already know what it is. But if you get people saying, oh, this is what they do to me. You really want this new Cadillac Roadster. It's only $85,000.
Right.
And we can get you in that, for low payments of $180 a month, which sounds pretty good, right?
Yeah.
But that's like 8 years of borrowing money at 11% interest on a coffee roaster,
Right.
which I'm not going to do, right? Because I'm worried about the cost of the money. Yeah, of course I want a new roaster. But how many bags of coffee do you have to sell to pay off
Yes.
$85,000 for a machine? So I guess that's huge. The time management is huge, and marketing. Don't skip on marketing.
Amen.
It comes from a very large amount of every discipline I've ever been involved in. But the basic premise I'll share with you is, if you don't ask, you'll never receive. And what that means is, when you're marketing to your customers, you're asking them to do something for you. Like, I currently have a door hanger campaign. I just asked them if they're interested in finding a new coffee and breakfast joint. That's the question, right? It's not a call to action. It's a question. And in this campaign, I've got about a 40% return rate on those door hangers. And I'm not even offering a coupon.
Wow.
Because I'm asking a question. I'm not making a demand. I'm not saying, save $5 when you buy $35, which is a very clever technique. But, if you train people to shop coupons, and I'm going into retail here, but if you train people to shop coupons, they will only ever shop coupons. Okay. But so marketing, don't leave it behind, and make the invitation, right? Yes, call to actions when it's appropriate, but you want them to believe in what you're doing, right? And marketing budgets are insane. It could be a full third of what you're doing. So start smaller. but know your audience. This is key, right? You got to know who's going to buy your product. If you don't know, if you have a dream, you don't know who's going to buy your product, then don't market because you're going to throw your money away.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
When I first started, I threw money away on Facebook ads and Google ads and all this, right? It's just throwing good money after bad.
No.
Because they lie, they cheat, they steal, and there's nothing you could do about it because they're the only game in town.
Yeah.
I'll give you, for instance, and this is for everybody out there who's tempted to advertise on social media. They'll tell you when you build this post in your big suite, it takes 3 screens to see that you're going to reach an audience of 80 to 100,000 people. And this has happened to me many, many times. Early on. It doesn't happen anymore because I don't get lied to. Then the campaign concludes, let's say 30 days later, oh, you reached 1,500 people. Oh, well.
Yeah.
So you see the difference? They promise 80 to 100,000 people impressions, and they'll tell you, oh, you got 1,500, 2,000 impressions. So sorry. So it's a gimmick.
Yep. And then you can't get your money
There's
back.
no money returned because it's digital, right? So be very cautious. Targeted Google ads are very good. They're very profitable, but targeted. Work with somebody who knows Google ads. And I guess to reiterate and wrap up, finance, buy the money, not your dream. Marketing, don't overlook it, and learn your time management. If you do those 3 things, it's a good start. It's not everything, but it's a good start.
Right. So just a quick kind of backup, follow-up on that. There's probably a lot of listeners. We have a lot of listeners who are existing entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
But maybe stuck, like struggling to grow or just struggling to get real traction. What's the best advice you can give them?
I'll give them the advice I was given from everybody when I started and when I wanted to quit. If you're stuck and you're considering quitting, this is the point at which you make the decision. I go forward and succeed, or I quit and never find out. So when you're at the end and you're stuck and you feel like you're quitting, I believe it happened with me. I believe that's when you're on the verge of success because it's a test of your character, whether or not you proceed, right? And anyone who's built a business that survived more than 10 years didn't quit.
100%.
Right. And so if you're stuck and you feel like quitting, you got to be honest with yourself. Am I a quitter, or can I muster through and do what I need to do? And to partner with that, you have to live each day as it's the whole of your life in one day. Because people get stuck sometimes. They worry so much about tomorrow and next month that they can't get through today. And so that's a kind of a 1-2 punch. Concentrate on getting through today. You are stuck today. Okay. Concentrate on getting through that stuck point today. I guarantee you tomorrow will be better because you worked through today.
Yeah.
And then tomorrow when you get stuck, work through tomorrow. And so many people fall in this trap. They can't see past today because they're looking down at next week and next month, and they're scared to death. They're frozen. And there are scary things out there, right?
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying.
I'm guilty of that.
Oh, we all are. But you
well.
worked through that day.
Yes. Yep.
Right?
I
When you laid
learned
your
that.
head down at night, you decided to get up the next day and do it again.
Yep.
That's what I'm talking about. And that's what separates the succeed. And again, your definition of success is way better than what I think most people believe in. Having the Mercedes or the big house and the swimming pool. I've got to be honest, I don't give 2 shits about any of that stuff.
Yeah.
I drive a pickup truck. I have a house. I'm very pleased with that, right?
Yeah.
And my kids all have clothes. I mean, to me, that's my measure of success,
Yeah.
right? So I guess if you're worried about money and that is your measuring stick, I would say quit. Don't do it, because
Yeah.
you're never going to have enough money.
Exactly.
There'll never be enough for those people who only hunger for profit. It'll never be enough. And it's a shitty motivation to work. If you have a profit only motive, I'd say walk away, go do something else, because that's not their good enough reason to be in business.
Man, I couldn't agree with you more. Man, we are at the end of our episode here. But I just want to tell everyone, I've been giving out as our company giveaway John's Coffee. It's incredible how much messages I've received unsolicited. I never ask how's the coffee. They just send me, man, this coffee is amazing. That's what people's been telling me. In the
And-
house, my in-laws live with us.
Yeah.
They don't use Starbucks anymore.
Awesome.
That's why, well, they kind of consume so I'm going to have to give. I told them this is for
You
giveaway.
should have told me. I would have brought more coffee
No,
today.
well, we're getting more, but I just want to say, man, your coffee is amazing. So for our audience who want to learn more about you,
Yeah.
whether they want to just get more inspiration,
Yeah.
if they don't mind them asking
at all,
advice,
yeah.
but if they want to just get coffee or maybe they want to use your coffee as a giveaway as well, which I totally recommend, what's the best way to get in touch with you, John?
Yeah, I appreciate that, Chris. So we're on the web at lifeboatcoffee.com. That's, you jump in the ocean, you need a lifeboat. So lifeboatcoffee.com. We've got a shop number available on that website. You can call and talk to me anytime. The website is the best, for direct retail sales of coffee. If you want a more intimate conversation about doing something like what we do for GabTech private labeling, I'm open to that. Call the number that's on the web for the shop. Set an appointment. We're in Phoenix. Wherever you are in the world, we are in Phoenix. So if you find yourself in Phoenix, please come visit me. We're at the intersection of 7th Street and Dunlap, which is north central Phoenix. Very easy to get to. 15 minutes from the airport. And we have beautiful breakfast. Lovely coffees. We have 14 origins. I make about 25 different coffees, including the blends. We have coffees from Africa, Central America, South America, and the South Pacific, and North American coffees, including Chiapas, Mexico, and some grown in the great state of California that many people don't know about.
Wow.
Yeah. There's been coffee there in California for about 20 years, and it's very good, very expensive, but we have it. And that's the easiest. So I appreciate the time, Chris. What a great opportunity to be with you.
This
You're
is
a
amazing.
great host. Thank you.
Thank you. This has been amazing, fantastic. Man, this is probably one of my favorite episodes so far.
It's definitely my favorite episode so far. Just
man,
kidding.
Of course. Well, John, thank you so much. This has been amazing. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Again, this is your host, Chris Yap of the show From Zero to Revenue. Until next time.